Hey, everybody. I am Haley Gray, and we are finally live. I am the founder of the Women's Entrepreneur Network. I am really, really excited to have my friend and one of our All Access Pass members, Stephanie Book, here today. Stephanie, we're going to introduce you in just a second, and we're going to be telling about flourishing in life, flourishing in business, and you do have a choice. So let's do this. So welcome, Stephanie. So happy to have you here.
Thank you so much, Haley, for having me. I'm excited that we get to do this together.
Yeah, me too. So tell me a little bit about, your business and what all it is that you do.
Yeah, sure. So it's Flourish. Flourish and Inspire is my main part of my business. I started a wellness journey about 6.5 years ago where I was opened up to the whole idea of not only taking care of my healthy body, but my healthy mind. And that's just where the word flourish kind of came from. I was just so excited to learn about personal development and understand that I could become something different than what I thought I was. I felt stuck. I felt in a place where nothing was really, I just thought there's nothing else, what I'm a mom and my kids are getting older and that's all there is. And then I realized that, no, that's not true. No, I don't have to feel stuck. I am fully capable and worthy of doing it.
I'm so sorry. I accidentally hit my keyboard.
That's okay.
That's really awesome. And this is
awesome.
life, right? Happening in real time. So tell me,
Yes.
Okay, so you're a mom, kids are getting older. Life is what it is. And you're stuck. Where are you?
So, but we're not stuck. And that's what I used to think. So what I love to do is help women see they can go from feeling stuck to being worthy and capable of living a life that they love, that is full and flourishing, that they are worthy of taking care of themselves. And that when you actually step in and take care of yourself, you actually have more room for the things that you love and care about. And that's something that I didn't understand as a mom. I thought, hey, as I taking care of everybody else, they all come first. Yes, that's important. But when we realize that when we fill our cup and we take care of ourselves, then that actually lets us overflow into the people that we care about and gives room for dreaming and living a full life. So that's kind of where things started. And so that's what I love to do. I love to help women see their potential for more, help them learn how to have habits of self-care, how to learn how to take care of themselves and step into a journey different than what they think is all that there is. So,
right. Well, and I mean, it's a conscious decision, I think, is part of this conversation, right? To intentionally flourish requires a conscious decision and a mindset shift.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, so like this morning, I was actually having a conversation with another friend who is a psychotherapist, and she and I both have children with severe psychiatric issues. And, it's kind of interesting because we were talking about, that exact feeling that you're describing, like this is all that there is. And sometimes I feel like people put moms who have all of this stuff going on up on a pedestal as being like better than or somehow holier than. And I would say no, and it's been tempting at times to respond, well, what choice do I have? Well, I have a choice, right? I made the choice a few years ago to focus all of my energy, all of my time, everything on my daughter. And I gained weight and it impacted my health negatively. And it impacted my business horribly. And I went through bankruptcy because I made that choice. And when I realized I was in control of the decisions, things changed. And I had to make a conscious decision, to completely change my life. I had weight loss surgery. I've lost 160 pounds and kept it off. So it's been a health journey, a mindset journey, and all the things. And so that's part of why I'm like really excited to talk to you, because it is a choice, right? And as moms, we have to take care of ourselves first.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the whole flipping the switch, looking at that from a different light, they say, they talk about like the empty cup, right? You look at a cup, is it half full, if
Mm-hmm.
it's a half empty, or it's refillable. And I think the idea of it's refillable, there's going to be times when the cup is kind of empty because we have a lot we've been given out, but we still
Right.
can fill it up. We can still have that choice. We can flip that switch and look at, what can I do? Have that chance to look at, okay, yes, these things are hard, but I am in charge of my choices. What can I choose? I get to, I want to, I choose to do these things versus I have to, I should, and put all those woulda, shoulda, couldas on ourselves instead of jumping into like, this is what I can control and I can step in and I can control getting up and, spending 10 minutes stretching if that's what it is, or drinking my glass of water when I start my day, or sitting and breathing for a few minutes before I start my day. Like we can choose those things that are going to fill us up, choosing to do that. And I know it's hard when we've got all the things coming at us, but we are so much better when we flip that switch and be like, okay, what can I do? And then look at the things
Mm-hmm.
that we're grateful for. And gratitude, I think, is a huge part of that too, because we can look at, if we're focused on all the things that, oh, this is happening to me, this is happening to me, then we're so inner focused on what we can't control. And once we flip that switch and be like, okay, what can I be grateful for? What is
Right.
something different that I can look at? It can open that
Mm-hmm.
perspective so much differently. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, 100%. Like when you start changing the perspective of how you see life and how you're interacting with it, in many ways, you know, across the board, it really does fundamentally change. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we were talking before we got on about stuff that we do in business. And, I think that it can be really easy to kind of look at me in particular and say, oh my gosh, you've got this whole thing on social media and you've got all these things going on. It must be nice. And then you and I were talking about how, like, I'm in the middle of working on multiple projects right now, trying to toss all those balls in the air while
Mm-hmm.
managing all these other things.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it has been like, figuring stuff out, doing the things, getting my head, and performing that, removing my head from my nether regions operation and getting my head in the right place,
Mm-hmm.
um, to to do the things and figure them out even when I don't feel like it.
Right. Right. Actually, I had that kind of conversation with myself earlier today because I had all the different things were piling up and piling up, and then you just want to be like, sometimes you just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done doing this, and then you're like, okay, wait a
I'm
second, no,
exhausted.
no. Yeah, exhausted. You're tired. And then that's when I know that's actually a clue to me that okay, take a deep breath. Maybe go outside for a few minutes. It doesn't mean like the work will still get done, but when you just take those couple minutes to like even just stop and breathe, turn off the noise, turn off whatever you're listening to, and just pause for a few minutes. Like it's amazing how that can shift you, and it's like, no, those are the lies that we're telling ourselves that we can't do it. We don't have enough time. We can't figure it out. Like all those negative soundtracks or negative thoughts. That inner roommate, I talk about that a lot, starts telling us those things
Mm-hmm.
that are not true. And so that's where we get to stop and breathe and be like, okay, no, let's focus on what is true. What can I create? I can do this next one step. I can do this one
Right.
next task and not worry about the huge site or what the huge goal or whatever it is that we're working
Backlog,
on. But we can
right?
do right. Yeah. But we can look at 1 millimeter, one little tiny step forward and focus on that. And when that's done, we can move another step forward. Like, and I think that helps. That again, it's that shifting that perspective of what you can control. So it doesn't necessarily mean that all the pressures go away, but when we're focusing on just that one little thing, it feels more manageable, and then we can celebrate that too. Like, wow, look at this! I moved 3 millimeters today. Like that's an accomplishment. So because I think
Right.
we
Yeah.
don't celebrate that either. Yeah,
Right. Like,
yeah,
okay, I was working on a sales page and it took me 4 hours to get it done, but it's done. and it looks gorgeous,
Mm-hmm.
so
Right.
on to the next piece. And,
Right.
celebrating every single little teeny tiny baby step forward, whether it's in life or in business, like today, oh,
Right.
look, I managed to take all my vitamins today. Oh, look, I managed to
Right.
actually get some exercise in today. I managed to meet my protein
Right.
goals. Um,
Good.
yeah, little things.
Yeah. 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 That celebration, and that's something I think, especially I think as women, we're always criticizing ourselves and saying we're not enough. I used to tease my kids because I would write down not tease them, but they would ask me. I'd write down my to-do list, and then I'd always like write cry in the middle of there somewhere because it just looked so overwhelming at the time. And I remember one time they're like, "You have so many things written down, but you don't have cry." I'm like, because I know that everything that I get done, I'll just celebrate as I go. So I was able to
Mhm.
switch my perspective of, and be like, no, like we're just going to look at one little thing at a time, and then celebrate that. And
Right.
I think it's important. Take that time to be like, okay, this is what I did do, instead of the first thing, if you're married and your spouse comes home, well, how was your day? And be like, well, I didn't get this and didn't get this and didn't get this. No, 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 no. I got this done. I got this done. Like, let's celebrate that first. Yeah, there's always going to be things we don't finish, but we get to look at the things we did and celebrate that, and look at those things that we did control through the day. So
A hundred
it
percent.
takes practice.
Well, and to not look at the long to-do list of stuff that has to be done
Right.
and just get overwhelmed and, fall apart, because as
Right.
women, we have kids. And I was telling you before we got on here, I'm traveling tomorrow through Friday. I'm going to go be a speaker at a conference in Nashville. So I've got to drive to Nashville. Oh, by the way, I'm dropping off a bunch of stuff with a friend on my way. And, that's 8 hours there. It's basically a full day there. And then I'm doing Thursday, Friday, and then I'm driving back late Friday night. And oh, by the way, I get back and I've got one kid starting a PhD program next week, and I've got one kid starting a senior year of high school. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to look at all of the things that are happening in very short and quick succession and go, and that's not counting, being
Right.
legal guardian to my oldest and all the other like steady state things that happen in life and
Right.
business. And it's just really easy to hit that moment of like, I want to die, rather than focus on, okay, what are the things I absolutely have to do today? What things can I
Right.
check off, and
Right.
when and where and how, and how do I make those things happen? And, and some things are, honestly, celebrate the little things. I managed to take my vitamins
Mm-hmm.
today. Woohoo!
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. That's the little, it doesn't have to be. And I think we think, oh, it has to be the big grand thing that we're celebrating. I'm like, no. I mean, like you look at this, okay, the first, you get packed. Let's celebrate. You got packed. Okay, now you're going to drive. Hey, you got there safely. Well, let's celebrate that. I mean, yes, you had a whole weekend thing of things, but we can break that up in little bit of tasks along the way. And then we can celebrate that. Next thing you know, you
Mhm.
turn around, you're back home and everything got done and you survived. So, and you could go through that
Right.
enjoying the process as you're going rather than like, oh, I finally survived. Like, no, like, look what I was able to
No.
do the whole weekend. And, it is that little bit of flip, that little switch change in your mindset of how you're looking at it can really
Mhm.
change a whole way of looking at everything that you're
Right.
going about. Yeah.
Right. Well, and, the other thing too is surround yourself with the right people.
Mm,
One of the
absolutely.
things I cannot stress enough is, when you're a business owner and you're a mom, surround yourself with other business owners and other
Yes.
women, especially who have a million things going on in their lives, because,
Right.
being surrounded by other people who are going through similar things in life makes it 1,000 times easier than
Absolutely.
trying to go it lone wolf.
Hmm.
That's the other thing too, is like, you work with people on the mindset and the diet and the bits and the pieces and the parts, and
Hmm.
that's important. You need a person there, and you need to surround yourself with a whole community,
Right.
honestly, or it makes it 1,000 times harder, because you can't be it if you can't see it.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I don't know where I would be if I didn't have like different groups of communities that have supported me, with my coaching. I have some, actually like almost every day, it's like a little text that, that goes on this, like, how are you doing? What are your goals for this week? Those different things, how can I support you this week? That helps you not only get through the things, but also see that you're not alone in what you're going through. I think we sometimes think that we're the only ones, we know it's not true, but we think, oh,
I'm the
I'm the only
only
person that is like
failure
this.
here who isn't meeting her sales
Exactly.
goals or talking to enough
Right.
people.
Right. That's not true. That's not true at all, and I think that when you, not that you can commiserate, but you can encourage each other, look at that. Hey, and even like step in those times are like, hey, when this happened to me, this is what I did. Maybe you could try that, like
Mhm.
it's encouraging each other, along the way. So there's community is huge, a huge part of your growth for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
And, I feel like, it's easy to overlook those communities and how important that
Mm,
community piece is to thriving and flourishing.
right. Mm, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's, like I said, I didn't realize how much I needed a community until I started being connected to communities. And I'm like, wow, it was so much better, just as my business is expanding and the new
Yeah.
network that I have growing, it's huge. It's been so much better. And it makes it more fun because, yeah, yeah, it's just so much, I don't know, it just feels, yeah, you're just not alone, and it's just a fun way to be able to step in and do the things you need to do because you have that support from others. Yeah.
Yeah. No. And I mean, I've gone through some crazy stuff in my life, and it literally was my community, me saying, hey, I need help. I'm drowning,
Mhm.
that stepped in and
Mhm.
got us resources we needed. Literally, I
Mhm.
think people sometimes think I'm exaggerating when I say saved my family's life, but it's true.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
because I had a kid going through a severe mental health crisis and we couldn't keep her hospitalized long enough to keep her stabilized and get her
Mm.
stabilized. And I actually had friends and members of the community who reached out to me and said, hey, here's the things you need to ask for. And when I started getting those resources in place and those
Mm.
community members around me, because I would not have been able to do this by myself, stepped in and said, hey, you need to
Mhm.
ask for these things. And here's the order you need to ask for them in. And I'm like,
Mm.
dear Lord, how is somebody by themselves ever supposed to figure this stuff out? I don't think it's possible.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah, I'm glad that you had a community that stepped in, and that's it's so important to have that. If you don't have one, find one. I think that we have,
Yeah, build
as
one.
an entrepreneur, we have our network, and then
Mhm.
I have like a group like that I have for my people that I work with, that they can have a place, a
Mhm.
safe place to say, hey, I need some help here. Someone pray for me, whatever whatever it is to support you. So community is so big
Yeah,
and
hop
just
on a call and
supporting you.
talk me off a ledge.
Yes, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let she who has never had to be talked off a ledge, cast the first stone.
right, right. Yeah. It's not it I think, and like I said, again, where we think that we're alone feeling these ways and we're not, and if you feel
Mhm.
out of place, you feel lonely, you feel frustrated, reach out to somebody. Reach out to somebody because you are not alone. So please hear me on that.
Absolutely.
There's somebody else that loves you and cares for you or wants to help you however they can help you, find the resources
Absolutely.
that you need. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, and whether it's like, I know that you do health coaching and you work with people on
Mhm.
nutrition and stuff, one of the hardest things for me was beginning that journey and finding what I needed to do and learning
Mhm.
how to manage and how to completely radically overhaul my entire lifestyle and my family's entire
Right.
lifestyle as part of my
Right.
weight loss journey. I mean, the reality was
Right.
I needed to lose weight. My son needed to gain weight. It was, and my husband, has his own health
Mm.
issues. So we're like all like trying to manage all these. And it required a complete and total like shift, not just of mindset, but how we
Mhm.
look at things and how we react to things and what we buy and how we buy. And I
Right.
don't think it's possible to do that by yourself.
No, no. Not at all. And I think I tried to do that, by myself for so many years and just became more and more lost. And Google is helpful only so much, right? And then you're like, I need some real opinions, somebody that really guide me, And so that's why I
Mhm.
stepped into my health coaching because yeah, that support is needed, that someone just to guide you, and help you walk you through those decisions of what's going to be best for me, what's best for my health. How do
Right.
I bring my family in? How do I make the right choices? And I think that was huge. So I'm grateful that I stepped up and asked for help because my life would have been very different. I probably would have been talking to you right now had I not made some of those
Absolutely.
choices that I did. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
100%. Yeah, cool. So I know that your links are above in the links, but tell us what your links are for your website and all of that good stuff.
yeah. So on my website, the main thing you can reach my podcast there. I have one just on your audio podcast or on YouTube. So I do those once a week, every Monday. Those drop. So you can access it there on my website or just go to your favorite um, podcast app to listen to those. And that podcast is actually called Flourish in Health. So it's Flourish in Health, kind of more overall wellness health. Not I don't just talk about body health things, but a lot more mindset in there. I have a free guide that I put together, and it's just 10 of my tips of really helping you step into of self-care and how to really flourish in life. So I have that link there as well. And then there's some other different things as you go to the site. I have a Who Am I course is just kind of helping you recognize your worthiness and who you are. So you're welcome to step into that course. So
Mhm.
that's for free. It's like a 5-day challenge where you go a little bit of a lesson every single day. So you can get those there. And then on my website, there is a spot there where you can book a call if you just want to talk through what your health goals are, your mindset goals are. I would love to connect with you that way as well.
That's awesome. Y'all check in with Stephanie. She's pretty awesome. And she has some amazing things that she does in addition to the health coaching. So check her out
Yeah.
and get to know her. I hope to have this conversation with y'all soon. And I hope y'all talk to her. So thank you, Stephanie, for being here. And I appreciate you. And I'm looking forward to continuing the conversation. Let's do this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Haley. It was so much fun. Have fun this
Thank you, guys.
weekend. Drive safe, okay?
Yeah. Thank you, guys.